Hey everyone, Josh from I Probably Hate Your Band here. We're here with Lachlan and I didn't catch your name, man. Michael from Colossvs. How you guys doing? You enjoy the show?
Yeah, I had the worst hangover ever, and now I don't because I sweated it all out just then. So sick.
For anyone who doesn't know Colossvs, who are you and why should we give a shit?
We're a five-piece metal band.
We're from Melbourne. We blur a bunch of different styles of metal and hardcore, I guess, into something that I think is sort of unique. I don't think, like at least in Australia, I don't think there's any other bands I could say that we sound exactly like. So I'm kind of pretty into the fact that we don't really fit in anywhere, and we kind of it's kind of afforded us the opportunity to play with lots of different sort of bands and appeal to all different sorts of fans of heavy music. So
I mean, yesterday's show was so different to today's show, and that's the cool part about having so many different genres kind of melted together. Is we're just as at home on a metalcore show as we are with a bunch of grind bands, but we're never quite at home in anyone. So we've been going for like 5 years. We released a demo back in like 2011, went away for a couple years, and then released a 7-inch, and then Unholy last October. So this is the last couple shows for the Unholy run. So we're just playing the album from start to finish. And
he's been here for 5 years. I've been here for 1.5.
most of the band has.
But, like, obviously this tour you're doing Unholy in its in its entirety. What sort of brought that decision on? Are you just for shits and giggles, or like?
We just hadn't played many of the songs on it. And we were kind of like, we always wanted to do it as a whole because it has these really great interludes into all the different songs. It's really well thought out in terms of the track listing and how it's all put together from that perspective. And we've never had a chance to play it all together. So we figured this would be like a good fitting kind of send off to it, to just play it one last time and start to finish, play those songs that we don't do anymore, or that we've never even played. So that was kind of what was behind it.
We've kind of been doing lots of support slots and sort of 20-30 minute sets, which we can't fit the whole album into, and I think as he said, it's a good way to kind of close the chapter on this album, and we're getting stuck into a new one.
So obviously I guess the core concept of the album is like religion and faith. Is that sort of correct?
Yeah, this guy wrote the lyrics.
Yeah, that's kind of the main gist of it. Unholy's kind of an attack against the Christian church. It kind of examines it from different perspectives, from biblical, historical, and I guess modern day as well. So there's some stories in there, there's some kind of personal things in there as well, but it's all kind of melded together under this kind of concept.
Like some of it, I think is like, from my interpretation of it, is some of the songs are a bit more sort of specifically focused on sort of like that, just like examining, I guess, Christianity, and then there's other songs like that are kind of just almost fantastical kind of just stories, like just reinterpretations of biblical kind of tales of war and stuff.
So like with the sort of thing like a concept album, like do you guys sort of like find it hard to stick to the sort of one sort of lyrical theme, or does that kind of make it easier?
It was kind of something that we decided pretty early on. We kind of decided that the album was going to be about that specific thing, or something we'd touched on previously in a lot of the lyrics, and we just kind of want to explore that a little bit further and write something that felt a little bit more cohesive as an idea, and a single idea for the album, but kind of broken down into all these different sections. So that was kind of the idea behind making a concept album, but it's not really a story from start to finish, and that kind of concept is quite a loose concept, but yeah.
We're sort of, because I joined after the album was written, so he'd written most of the lyrics, but we're moving into the next album, sort of taking on board the writing of the lyrics, and it's definitely going to be a bit broader in scope, but I think kind of just like the imagery that the sort of band has established itself on will kind of be maintained mostly. So
your old guitarist Joseph had some interesting things to say about the album on our website.
Yeah.
I'm sure you guys have read it. I'm pretty sure you shared it.
Yeah.
And do you sort of like agree with the sentiments, or is it just him just talking shit just for the sake of talking shit?
There's definitely some truth ringing to a lot of it, but like I think part of being in Colossvs is, you get ripped on. We rip on each other. You know, we burnt Joseph pretty badly in the first article, the 6 reasons why members quit Colossvs. So it was like, all right, here's your turn to kind of roast us. And I guess he sort of took little jabs at all of our sort of different personality traits and bagged out his own songs. He wrote half of it, so he's taking a shit on his own work.
You did the Holy War tour with Thy Art. Yeah. What's the best story you have about Andy just being a dick?
I got the best one. First show in Perth, and he, like, most of the dudes in the band hadn't met them before, but Mike went up to, like, Thy Art got there just after us, and they're sort of loading out and getting the stage set up, and Mike goes up to Andy and he's like, hey man, do you need a hand, like, setting up or lifting your cab or whatever he was doing? And he just, like, blankly looks at Mike and goes, who are you? And he's like, what did you say? You're just like, oh, I'm
Mike. I'm Michael Calais. He's like, he just looks at me and goes, Michael Cole, Colossvs. I'm like, yeah. And then he just walked off. So that was the first time I met Andy.
My best story is that someone shared my band's song, and then he said that it was the worst song he'd ever heard. So, yeah.
You know, he used to play in Cross the Lips of Grace and the Benison Theory, so I don't know.
He's got nowhere to go.
To be fair, he's done pretty well. I've known Andy for ages. He's definitely an interesting person.
There was a website just like sort of like doing a review of Unholy, and they referred to it as black metal / hardcore. Mm-hmm. Like, do you sort of agree with that label, or is that just...
I think there's, like, the band kind of came from hardcore, and I think there's still a strong hardcore influence on it. There's definitely a strong black metal influence as well, but I also think on Unholy, you know, there's probably equal parts black metal and death metal, and then even like a bit of post metal stuff, and even some post prog kind of shit. I think we sort of, as we were saying earlier, just blur the lines between like black metal, death metal, hardcore, and then a little bit of post metal sort of mixed in.
Yeah, I kind of just don't care about the genres. It's kind of, it is what it is, and if people like it or they don't like it, it's kind of regardless which genre it is.
Like, I don't know what you call it. Like, I guess ultimately, like, you'd say we're a metalcore band, but that, you know, that makes people think of, like, you know, Killswitch Engage, Parkway Drive, and we don't. Yeah, it's like blackened death metalcore. I don't know.
There's
blackened
no
death.
one tag that will like define it, so it's easier to just say metal most of the time, or just extreme metal. I don't know. Yeah.
I think more commonly, I think also just because a lot of the shows we've been playing lately, it seems easier for people just to say death metal.
On the same website, someone actually said in the comments, "Drop the hardcore, then you might get big."
Really?
yeah. Like,
which comment? Which article? Sorry.
I'll find it and I'll link it to you. Like, it was something along those lines. Like, what do you have anything to say to that?
Well, like, the band pretty much came from hardcore and just played shows with hardcore bands for a long time, and then it changed a lot after I joined and the album came out. But I think, you know, that'll always be a part of where the band's come from and who we are as people. But you know, the metal is by far the predominant influence, and we want to play, you know, metal shows. So
yeah, people are always gonna have shit to say like that, and I mean, something we've tried to do from the start is never base the type of music that we write on anyone else's outside opinion. It's always something that's quite insular and kind of selfish in some regard. If we like it, then it works, and that's kind of all that matters. Once it's out there, it doesn't faze me anymore. Yeah.
Thank you for your time, guys. It was an awesome show, and everything was great. What I'm going to do is I'm going to give you 3 bands, right?
Yep.
First band, you got to do a split with. Second band, you got to do a world tour with, and the third band has to break up. All right, so you get 3 bands, world tour. Yep. All right, so you got Thy Art is Murder, Disentomb, and who was the last one? Aversion's Crown.
I don't want any of those bands to break up.
I'd tour with Aversion's Crown because they were fun as fuck on the last tour. A split with Thy Art would be pretty big, so that would get the most press. But I guess that leaves Disentomb to break up, which sucks because they're fucking mad.
I'd go the tour with Thigh Art just because that would put us in front of the most people. Oh no, actually no, I'd probably do a split with Thigh Art, and I'd like to do a tour with Disentomb because we haven't done that yet, and they're good mates of mine. So I guess I don't know. I've seen a Version's crown like 50 times, so like they can break up now.
They just lose by default. That sucks. All right. Well, again, thank you for your time, guys. It was excellent. The show was sick. Make sure you check out Colossvs. Check out Unholy. They got a new album coming out. You got anything you want to say at the end?
Yeah, we'll have a new album mid to late 2016, and a whole bunch more shows to come with that. And yeah, thanks for interviewing us.
You're welcome.